this one we are agreeing.
Yeah.
Even though I was thinking to go with Hooker, but like, to be honest, only thing that really made me to change is like that what I was saying and why I respect Frankie Edgar. Like he went down, he lost the fight, he went back up, and he fought like a maybe now like a next interim challenger. You know, like Allen is
Yeah.
like top notch. You know, like he's like upcoming force to be reckoned. You know, so why not to stick and try another match? You know, like okay, you have a bad start, like let's try it again. You know, like you
Mhm.
change the category for the reason, all that weight cut, sacrifice, and now you're going back where you were like more or less just like interesting fight. You
Yeah.
know, so
This is I see a lot of similarities with this and the last fight with the Frankie Edgar. You know, like not just with the persistence, but kind of like the matchup wise. Dan Hooker, he's fought a lot of the best guys available at 155, right? Same with Frankie Edgar. Anytime he takes a fight, it's the best guy that he can fight at that moment. And then now they're at a spot where they've lost more fights recently than they've won, right? Dan Hooker is 1-4 in the last 2 years, but he's only lost to, the best of the best. Now he's getting a step down, it seems, in competition, maybe to help him get back on track. And that's Claudio Puelles. Is that how you say it? Something cool about this dude. I would think he's got probably the most knee bars in the UFC, which is crazy. Like,
yeah, that's surprisingly. I don't even like honestly what I saw. I don't see his ground game at that high level. You know,
yeah. And
and
that's the
that's
thing
super.
is like when you see someone that has a lot of leg locks, sometimes they're like a leg lock specialist where that's all they go for. And if they don't get it, like they might be fucked, right? Like Ryan Hall, maybe a little bit Gary Tone. I think he's got good striking, but sometimes in his fights he only goes for the legs. With Claudio, it doesn't seem like even though he's got a lot of knee bar finishes, it's not the only thing that he can do, right? So I like that and that he's mixing it up a bit more and still finds a way to get the knee bar out of nowhere.
Yeah, actually, like I watched him pretty much preparing for this one. You know, and I honestly don't know where that young man is. You know, like I'm so surprised. That's why I'm saying, like I'm like even the against who he got that. Maybe that was his first heel hook knee bar. Sorry, in UFC against Felipe Silva. Yeah, that was like close to
Mhm.
the end of the fight. He was losing that fight. He
Yeah.
was basically pretty beaten up, like it was done to lose the fight, and then he managed to pull that crazy knee bar. I don't know how. Like it's
Yeah.
just like mentally where he is, like it's questionable for me. He has all the talent, you know. Like also, if you go, he breaks under the pressure. He breaks. That's for me, like something that I notice. I don't know, am I right? Because also, if you go to his fight against Martin Bravo, that was like a finale of Ultimate Fighter.
Hmm.
That guy was even smaller. He later, after that fight, he went category down to 145. He broke him on the pressure,
Hmm.
you know. And then like in another fights also, like I saw him cracking like a little bit. He managed to get out, like get that knee bar, but for me that was like more or less crazy luck, to be honest. You
Yeah.
know, that one of these two fights I cannot now, like I'm drained like porn star's dick, you know, like so my brain is not working good after a long day of shooting, from shooting and
What you shooting? um, Probably Chris Gretschemacher. I don't know how to. I've seen his fights. I've never known how to say his name, but yeah, it got a little bit dicey at times. And like you said, he was able to pull out that knee bar close to the end of the round. I would say against Clay Guida that wasn't the case. That was
no.
lightning quick knee bar, but he was winning that fight. Um, it's interesting though that you do think that he could mentally break, because against Dan Hooker, someone who's been in the fire against the best, if there's someone that can take Claudio to, like, a dark place, it is Dan Hooker. I think he can do that. But similar to Frankie Edgar, I just think at this point, momentum is big in this sport, and losing two fights back to back by finish, I wonder where Dan Hooker's at, and that's kind of why I'm picking Claudio, despite him being at this point lower caliber and obviously an underdog, according to the odds. But I'm going with Claudio.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also choose the same, uh, the same in this one. I was thinking to go with Dan Hooker, but like the most, like what was for me also where he is, where
Mhm.
he's in this moment, and especially with that like weight change. Okay, I try, I went, like I think his confidence is not that great, to be honest. Even though like you can see and you can say that he lost of best of the best, like Islam, Chandler, Poirier, like, so that's
Mhm.
like creme of the de la creme, like,
Yeah.
and it's just like something. But again, like you can have all rational reasons. If you lose your confidence, it's hard to build it up again, and that's why, like, also for me, it was like, okay, maybe he cannot press this guy so much to break. And he had like a great name, like a big name to say in UFC, the legend Clay Guida. He passed that one with the flying colors. So I think that also like puts like a, for me, a little bit on the scale for the Claudio Puelles.
Mhm.
So I just decided there not to go with the hooker, to go with him, to mix it a little bit up. I gave a chance to Frankie. I couldn't give it to Dan. So, but I would be surprised if he win this one.
Yep. And I will say, if Hooker pulls it off, if the veteran coming off of some bad losses pulls it off, then I'm going to switch my pick and I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar the night of. But right now I'm kind of going with the lesser known fighters, just because of the streaks.